Good evening, everybody. It is Nomad alongside Lindsay from LL Cool Games. How are you doing, Lindsay? It's been I feel like at least 2.5, 3 weeks since we've seen each
I
other.
know, it's crazy. It's wild that we timed it that way, that you were busy and then I was busy, and it's
Yep.
okay. We've got lots to cover now, so
We have a lot to talk about. So if you're joining us for the very first time, or if this is a reoccurring adventure for you, just to give you a recap of what we're doing here today, Lindsay and I are talking about and playing through the indie RPG gem known as Sea of Stars. Fantastic game that's been keeping our attention rather well. We both decided to start to play the game together, and we're kind of accountability buddies, making sure that we play the game through, stay committed. Although Lindsay, you are vastly ahead of me because I had not a great week last week, but that doesn't matter. We're still going to talk this baby. So that's largely what we're going to be doing today. Now, kind of the flow of the show. Really, I guess it is kind of a show now. Ooh, yeah.
yeah. It's a habit, it's a bad habit, yeah.
Exactly. So we're going to be talking about kind of some of the story beats that we've gone through up to this point. So you can see the ticker at the bottom of the video here, bottom of the stream. We're going to be talking about possibly story gameplay spoilers up until the city of Dokari, if I'm even pronouncing that correctly. That's the underwater
Yeah.
city for those that have played the game before. So we're going to try our best not to go too far past there, but anything up to that point is fair game for the conversation. So that's kind of what we're going to do there. But we're also going to just talk about really our thoughts in general about the game so far, and then whatever else comes up in conversation. People can come and go as they please. Say hi. We'll change the conversation accordingly. Retro Rob has joined the chat. Mr. Rob Retro, my friend, you're looking fantastic today, in case no one's ever told you today.
I'm sure they have today, specifically today.
Absolutely. So yeah, we Lindsay and I have not been together the last couple of times we've done this. I went on a family vacation to Orlando with the family because I love my children so much. I want them to experience all the things that are Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. And my glowing review is Orlando is hot.
Yeah.
That's it. Orlando's just hot. But it was a fun time, and I got a decent amount of gaming in too. I actually played some other games
Awesome.
outside of Sea of Stars, so I got some gaming done too. The kids had a great time, and it was awesome. And then when I was coming back, you were leaving your humble abode. Where did you go?
Yes. So we had a wedding invitation come in from where we used to live in Pennsylvania. So we went back to Lancaster County. And that was our first time back in almost exactly 9 years. So that
Dang.
was weird. But it was nice. Right. It was kind of one of those casual things where we were there for a week while my husband was working. So we just kind of ran into people as we could and slept in and didn't have to do chores because we were in a hotel, and it was nice. It was nice to come home though too.
Yeah, there's nothing like coming home. I didn't have my dogs, so I came home and had that warm
Oh
welcome from the
gosh.
dogs, which is awesome. Dee
Yeah.
Dee and Dexter were pretty convinced that we had abandoned them forever, so that was a nice reunion. And yeah, there's just something about being in your own home again, sleeping in your own
Yeah.
bed. Like it's awesome. I've got an expiration date when it comes to vacations, and I'm sure you do too.
Yeah. Yeah. 9 days was kind of long. So yeah. See, but
Oh,
we have cats. So we had a cat sitter come, and so the hypothesis is because they were seeing a person like on the regular. That's my child. Because they were seeing a regular human person on a regular basis,
hold on.
they weren't
This
mad. They weren't mad at us when we got back. Yes, that's my kid.
awesome.
Yes. Rob, are you quoting the tick? Right? Do you have the powers to destroy the world? The tick says, "Egads, I hope not. That's where I keep all my stuff." That's exactly what that is.
Nice. I haven't heard a reference to the
Yeah.
tick in God knows how long. Jeez.
We don't hang out enough then, Frank. My problem is I quote the tick and then everybody's like, "What?" It's like,
uh,
yeah, I forget. Not everybody was as hard as a Fox morning, Saturday morning cartoon fan as we were. So,
God, those were the days. All right, all
no
right.
kidding.
before we go too far down that nostalgia hole, because I kind of want to now. Real quick, in case somebody is watching that is joining us for the first time, we usually like to start things off by kind of introducing ourselves, who we are, what we do, and where you can find us afterwards if for some reason you kind of like what we're doing here today. So, Lindsay, you are from a YouTube channel known as LL Cool Games.
Um,
Is that all you are? Is that where you are? What do you do? What do
that's
people
that
know
is
about
all
you?
I am. Um, my YouTube is growing. My Facebook is finally gonna get me up, hopefully over 100, so I can start streaming on my Facebook, which would be great.
Yes.
Um, and I'm kicking around the idea of adding Instagram to that crazy pot that I'm stirring here. So we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, because I'm starting to get invited to do panels at cons, and I'm starting to get right. I'm gonna do
Nice.
a pop culture chat later this week. So I'm just like, what is going on? But
That is
it's fun.
fantastic. I would love to partake in a panel one day or anything like that too. So that is awesome. I am super excited
Yeah.
for you. Please let me know when that's happening
Yay.
so I can support slash jeer
CGC,
you. And
baby.
there you go.
Yeah. Cleveland Gaming Classic. Like, please. It's one of those things like out in the distance where it's like, if I can just live long enough to get to Cleveland Gaming, I'm so excited.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna be there. This will be my third year in a row now. I've really had
What?
fun with it. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
oh my god, it's so good.
He's interesting, Rob. I'm excited. We've been like messaging back and forth. I'm really excited to talk to him. Yeah.
Nice. Heck yeah. Well, that's awesome. So it can continue to grow, Lindsay. If you're listening, you're not subscribed to LL Cool
Will.
Games on YouTube, do that. Definitely follow her on Facebook. If she can get over 100 followers, she can stream this on
Yes.
her channel
It
as well.
opens up a
So
whole new world.
awesome. And then my name is Nomad on my Retro Wildlands podcast. My real name is Frank, but I don't know. I thought a made up name sounded cooler. So,
It is.
but but my whole thing is I primarily have a podcast where I go back and play old retro video games that I missed out on as a kid. But instead of just talking about them, I like to recreate the experience of playing that game. So using music and sound effects, I'll take you through an older retro game. So it's like we're playing it together so you can relive all of those nostalgic feelings that you had back in the day. Or if you're playing a game or want to play a game for the first time and you're not really sure what it's all about, listen to my podcast. I'll give you a really good idea what that game's about.
That's a good
So,
idea.
so I that's kind of my main thing. I do have a YouTube channel as well. I've got a couple random YouTube video game reviews on things that aren't quite retro. I'm still just kind of dabbling in some things. So
He
if
is
you're
the
bored out
man.
of your mind, check me out on YouTube. It's fun. All right, I gotta highlight this one. Thanks, Rob. I
Yeah,
appreciate you,
because
man.
you are the man.
Appreciate that. All right, so let's get into what we've been up to. Let's get into a little bit of Sea of Stars. Overwhelmed gamer, what is happening, man? Welcome to the stream. If you're listening, watching, looking at this later in time in the future, go check out Overwhelmed Gamer. He's got some
Overwhelmed
fantastic
gamer.
content too.
Yes. His
Absolutely.
shorts are hilarious, and I don't think he always means to be funny. It's just like, I feel you, man. I feel you.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. All right. So last time we had a stream, I was absent because I was on vacation
Yes.
and doing vacation-y kind of stuff. So to kind of start off, since this is kind of a continuing series, Lindsay, did you kind of want to just quickly recap where you left off on
Sure.
your stream before in case someone has not watched that?
Yeah, we pretty much covered the island mess that you have to do with the Vespertine, right? Where they give you the boat and then you have to pilot, right? And go around and then unlock that center island and then do what is so far the absolute coolest boss fights in this video game and
Nice.
fight a giant seahorse. Um, and it was hard, but it wasn't too hard that it was intimidating, and I didn't die. So
That's the
that's the recap.
that's the key. Did you die? Answer is no.
Didn't die.
Awesome. That's awesome. I really enjoyed getting my hands on the Vespertine finally, and I remember we had talked about how kind of odd it was to control, at least in
Yeah.
the beginning. I took to it like a fisherman takes to a boat. I can't think of a good analogy there.
Oh, there you go.
It wasn't
I had
too
to do like curlies to get my boat to go
well,
this way.
that's kind of what I did, but I embraced the curlies. I just decided that I'm
Oh,
just going
okay.
to be a reckless, terrible boat driver, and all I was doing was just serpentining to where I needed to
There
go.
you go.
But it was smooth. It was really fun to partake, and finally getting to a point in this RPG where you can kind of open the map up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like any Final Fantasy fan will tell you, the best part of a Final Fantasy is when you either get a boat or an airship and you can
Hmm.
finally just check things out. So I know that when I first got the Vesper team, the first thing I did is I'm going to go anywhere but the main objective so I can see what the hell else is
Yes.
out there, which was awesome. Came across a lot of really cool stuff, found some more rainbow conch shells too, which is
Yes.
we discovered that, and I think, yeah, we're far enough along now where we found the person that can
Hmm.
redeem the rainbow conch shells. So
Yes.
that is actually something I wanted to ask you and get your take. So a bunch of games sometimes will have that special currency, that rare material that you can trade for unique items or what have you. But the way Sea of Stars does it is it's you kind of have to unlock the items in order. You
Yeah.
what was it? You can collect up to what, 200 of these things, I think? I can't
Oh my
remember.
gosh, are you serious? I had like
Maybe.
14. I was so disappointed in myself. It's like 14. I think I got two things when
Yeah,
I
I
showed up the first time.
I got 4.
Nice.
I'm a rainbow conch shell magnet, I guess.
Awesome.
But that's kind of the thing that's different about this particular system is most other games you can kind of pick and choose what kind of rewards you
Yeah.
want, but in Sea of Stars you have to go in order. When you turn in your shells, you get up to the amount that you can, and the rewards are very ambiguous. Like it says like
Yeah.
a reward that will give you a good cheer. That's not at all what it says, but just giving you an idea.
Right?
Um,
Yeah, I looked at him and I'm like, "Why do I wanna give you," and then I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. This must be the thing. This
right.
has to be the point that I want." And so I've gotten to where I'm screenshotting when I'm finding the rainbow conch shell, treasure chests
Mhm.
because they're hidden, and I think as I'm finding them more and more, I'm able to find them more and more. Does that make sense?
That makes
Um,
perfect sense.
'Cause some of them right, 'cause some of them, it's just like, "Wait, like, I see you over there." And then some of them are really convoluted how you have to, like, go and then come back, and it's
Exactly.
nuts.
I haven't found too many where it's like I had to just give up and come back later. Half the time I see them and I can usually find a pretty good path to get them. Other times I just happen to stumble across them. Like they love hiding behind waterfalls for some reason.
Yeah,
So
because it's a
that's
video game, Frank.
exactly. Anytime The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past taught me this. If there's a waterfall, there's something behind it.
Something behind it.
That's
Mhm.
just law. It's written somewhere in a tome buried in a mountain
And it should
somewhere.
be.
So the question I did want to ask, what do you prefer? Do you like the idea of being able to purchase your own rewards with a special currency, or do you kind of like going in this
Hmm.
predetermined order? Like, do you have a preference or
I guess I'd never come across this before, where you're just kind of, like, throwing into the pot, and then as you continue to accumulate, right, I'm gonna get to unlock the list. I don't know that I've ever done that before. I'm definitely, a very I don't wanna waste my time with all the filler stuff, right? So, like, a great comparison that I have in my head, so Horizon Zero Dawn. Have you played Horizon, Frank?
I have not.
Okay. So you collect these things and they unlock, okay, and it's like, right, you need level 1 to be able to unlock level 2 and then level
Mhm.
3, and then sometimes level 3 will branch, and then there's like level 4 and level 4. Okay.
Okay.
So, but
Okay.
they tell you like the whole thing. I know what everything is. So I'm like, I'm not wasting my time with this one, right? I'm gonna go over here and go straight down and become like super OP in that one category because I've played too much Final Fantasy, right? So I want that one like superpower so that I know that when it comes to being able to do whatever that is, I'm already awesome at it. Where, yeah, this, I don't know, like they're doing it to keep you playing the game, right? To keep you looking for the chests, And then apparently we're gonna have to keep coming back to Dokari over and over and over again to give this guy our shells.
It
So
seems that way, and so far, at
we'll
least for the
see.
story, we've had to go back like twice now, at the very least. So we've got reason to
Yeah.
be there. But I I kind of agree with you. I like the idea of being able to unlock whatever I want to unlock on in the order that I
Yeah.
choose. So, but I don't think it's a bad idea or the way they're doing it in this game either. It just
No, it's very unique.
it is. I like it. And plus now, judging by the list, we know how many of the rainbow conch shells are out there. So if we
Oh,
really
that's
want
fair.
yeah, so if we
Oh
really
my
want to
god,
like be a
200.
completionist in a sense, um,
Dang.
we know how many we have to get. And are you going to spend the time to try to find all these things? I don't know if I'm
God,
gonna.
no, I am not that person. No. And there's no trophies, right? Nintendo doesn't have the dopamine out there for me, so there's no reason to. No,
Yep,
no.
no trophies means you just have to live with your own dopamine high of knowing you did it and you can't show it off to anybody.
Man, that's
Wah,
not.
wah.
Nope. Thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah, thanks, guys. You're the greatest. So,
Yeah.
all right, cool. I appreciate you humoring me on that. I was genuinely curious.
Yeah.
Conch shells are fun, and now that we know what to do with the darn things, we can unlock some stuff, which is cool. Now, one of the rewards that we found with the conch shells is we found plans for buildings. What could we do with
Yeah.
those plans for these buildings? I wonder quietly out loud to everyone listening to us today.
And
Uh,
immediately go back. Yeah.
exactly. Here we go. Here we go, Rob. Yes, damn you, Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Just if it's not a trophy system, just give us like, I don't know, badges, pins, stickers, or something to put on our profile for doing the cool thing on your little system. God damn it.
Right?
Anyway. So, but no, we can get plans for buildings. So we come across. Oh, let's back up a little bit. So part of the story is the first dweller that we defeat in battle. What was it? The Dweller of
Yeah.
Woe, I think it was.
Whoa. Yeah.
Decimates the harbor town of a name that is escaping me at this
Yeah.
exact
Like,
moment.
oh, is he gonna remember? Because I don't.
Lucent, I think it was.
Is that
Um,
Lucent? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Lucent. Chat, correct me if I'm off base. Um,
Right.
but part of the story, we go back to the destroyed city, we clear it out of monsters, and the people there, while some want to rebuild, others want to relocate, and our friends with our pirate pals find an island north of us somewhere that's uninhabited, and it's like, hey, we got a boat. Let's put them on the boat and go up north. It'll be
Yeah, and
great.
they trust us to drive. Yeah.
Right. So we serpentine circle our way up north, and we find this town that Garl gets to name because Garl
He's
is
so
just
sweet.
and everyone loves him and
Oh,
he's such a great leader and he's so adorable and everyone's just like Garl, tell us what to do and we'll do it because you're just all right and really really cool. So they
right.
allow Garl to name this city. And what do they name this city? Mirth.
Murph. So sweet. I
So
was not prepared for how syrupy sweet some of this stuff is. I know.
syrupy sweet. I like that. But it was very, very well done. I mean, the one thing that Sea of Stars is doing really well is it's giving its characters really good substance, development, moments, whatever you want to call it. And even some of the NPCs, even some of like the NNPPCs, like the ones where they're just standing in a corner for you to talk to them once and never see them again. They have character in this game. So everyone's all excited. They're in this town, and then we come across somebody in the town who has undergone a facelift, which we'll get to in a second. We come across a gentleman named Bob. Bob the
Oh, Bob.
constructionist, I think his
Bob
name
the
is.
Builder.
Or
I
Bob
just
the
figured
Builder.
that out.
You know what? That's yes. That
That's better. That's way better.
I didn't even
That's
think of
better.
that. God
I love it. It's
dang.
Bob the Builder. Nailed it. That's
so
great.
So Bob the Builder in the town of Mirth is tasked with adding on to the city, expanding the city, and it's up and of course he's a certified builder. He's got his own show and everything, but
Certified. Yeah.
but he's relying on us to find building material and plans to add things to this town. So what do we do in classic RPG fashion? We go find him the means to build onto this city, and that's some of the stuff that we find with these conch shell rewards, right?
Yeah.
Um, so we can go two different ways with this conversation. Those that have been following Sea of Stars since its inception will probably know some of the controversy that surrounded it, i.e., Bob the Builder and what he used to be. But also, too, I kind of want to talk about just base building, city building in general in video games. So we can go either two ways. Lindsay, where's our ship going? Tell us where we're headed. What do you want to talk
Uh,
about?
um, yeah, I guess. Well, let's talk about the base building stuff first. Because honestly, those are typically games that I'll be like, I don't want to do that because it's just so fetch questy for me. And you gotta give me a pretty good reason. It was I'm trying to think. Unicorn Overlord. I was so hyped to play that. And then you have to keep going back to these bases and give them stupid dried fish and
Yep.
cut down trees and gems. And I'm like, I hate this. I hate having to constantly backtrack, and it's not like I'm leveling up. It's not RPG enough, I guess, for me. It's too strategy.
Makes sense.
So I stopped because I don't want to babysit you people. Aren't you adults? Get your own trees.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Everyone's standing
so
around and they can't progress
right.
until you tell them what to
Go
do.
fishing. Good Lord. Um, but the way they're doing it again is cutesy, right? So I have to buy the plants, I have to earn the plants, right? By finding my rainbow shells. And then,
Mhm.
but it's all kind of an if you want to feeling at this point in time. Like I haven't felt pressured, like I have to go back.
It makes sense.
When I turned in my conch shells, I was like, oh, that must be a plan. I wasn't
Right.
like, "Oh, let's immediately go back." Like, I got other stuff to do here. So, um, yeah, so we'll see. I'm sure the story will loop back,
I'm,
right?
I'm
Because the elder is there.
yes,
So,
the headmaster of the school, Zenith
yeah,
Academy. Zenith Academy. There we go.
full of
Where our hero
child
Zale and
abuse.
yeah. So,
Dang.
well, let me ask this then. I know a lot about Unicorn Overlord, and it's one of those games that's just sitting on the backlog. I'll get to it one of these days. I'm very excited to play it. I think it's gonna be fantastic. But when it comes to Unicorn Overload or the good lord,
Yeah,
Unicorn
no,
Overload.
Overload. Yes,
Over,
Overload. Yes. It's a good rock band name.
I love it. So when you're going out and you're fetching those items like you described, does the game is it clear with the benefit that you're going to have, or is it kind of ambiguous?
So each city has like a wish list and it tells you what you need to like the next level that you're going to level up that village or
Okay.
whatever. Um but I guess I don't exactly know what that means. I just know, oh, my village is going to level up. Does that mean right, I'm going to get more resources from them, more money, different types of people that I can recruit for my teams to go out? I don't know. I guess I didn't do enough of it because I want to keep going. Like the story is this way and you want me to go that way. It
Right,
was
and that's totally fair because my thought, at least, unless you got the dialogue and I didn't or I overlooked it, but in Sea of Stars and Mirth, when Bob is trying to tell you, hey, I need plans to build up the town and it'll be great, I didn't really get any sort of a gameplay incentive to really do that.
mm-mm,
I
mm-mm.
I like the idea that we brought these people to this town and we have the ability to build it up and put in like an inn or a blacksmith, whatever the houses or structures
Yeah.
might be, right? Sounds great, but I don't know what the hell it's going to do to benefit me gameplay wise other than enrich
Mhm.
maybe the story. So to that end, I'm not really all that enthused, but in Unicorn Overlord Load, whatever, that my tongue, it's just nasty today. But but no, in that game, at the very least, you have that element of you're going to level up your town. I mean, it's something if you choose
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
partake. So I don't know.
Right.
We'll see. I have plans, plans for an inn and an item shop. I think that I got from the Rainbow
Yes.
Conch Shell. So eventually, I'll go back. I'll give Bob the plans, and he'll build the thing, and we'll find out what it does. So I am
Yeah.
curious. But so so that'll be a nice segue to be like, Bob was not always Bob. Bob used to
That
be
was
known
not
as
Bob.
no, Bob used to be known as Gerard. Gerard the
Yeah.
constructionist. So what's all that about?
That was really cool too, and, like, that's what's so, like, extra bad, right? Is this game is so sweet, and it's so good, and it's indie, and it's all these wonderful, like, really popular things right now, and right, they got mixed up with the wrong guy. Honestly, I'm gonna give him the it's a noise, not a name. Oh gosh. Can't take you anywhere, can we, Rob? Um, yeah, it just maybe he got too far into it and couldn't handle the power and the money that was involved. Because I've never been in charge of that much money. So, um, but I would hope that I would know enough to ask somebody to help me.
Something.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's for those that don't know, and I'd like to think most of us probably do if you're anywhere into the YouTube
at
gaming
least
space.
somewhat, yeah.
Right. Gerard Khalil, known as the completionist on YouTube, has had a fantastic channel for I don't know how many years.
Long time.
I only I would say just, but I only discovered him maybe last year. Really start.
Really?
Yeah,
He was COVID mental health in this house. We would, like, sit down and put it on the TV. Be like, "Oh, let's all eat together and talk about this video game." Yeah,
Oh, that is awesome. But yeah, I discovered him after COVID. I liked his content, everything was good. But he
yeah.
and his family had a foundation that was taking in donations for I think it was dementia research. And
Mhm.
there's all sorts of this stuff out on the internet, folks, if you want to really dive into it. But the long and the short of it is
You
he took
don't.
yeah, really. But he took donations.
Bad.
They didn't get donated until someone caught him. They finally got donated. There was a lot of lies and a lot of things that he said that he never did, allegedly, this, that, and the other. And he's not quite as popular as he used to be anymore. And he's kind of left a weird
Yeah,
spot on the content creation YouTube gaming space. Um, but how that relates to Sea of Stars, my understanding, you might have a little bit more flavor behind this, Lindsay, but my understanding is either he helped support or helped fund or helped Sabotage Studios develop and create Sea of Stars in some capacity to a point
yeah,
where they put him as a little sprite in this game, and his character Gerard the constructionist
yeah,
was this Bob character that we find. But why is he Bob now? Well, because of all these things that happened and the allegations
yeah.
and things, they patched him out of this game. Gone.
They
Just
patched him. Isn't that nasty? You put the cartridge in and it says update and it changes it to Bob. Like,
I
that's yeah.
when I first put the cartridge in, I actually didn't even register that. I'd forgotten about it for a hot minute, so I'm just like, "Oh, new content or quality of life improvements."
Yeah.
And they're like,
Oh,
"No, this guy's
it could be
just
that too, but no. Yeah.
maybe." But no, he's just gone. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about the whole thing. We're fledgling content creators. We've got some content
Yeah.
creators that have joined us in chat today and stuff like that. And while I think I speak for you too, we're doing this as a fun hobby and a way to kind of talk about the thing that we like and network with some people that we really like. I can't I can't fathom finding my way into a spot where something like that would happen to me. But at the same time, I always kind of
Yeah.
think like, am I going to say the wrong thing one day, or am I going to be like, hey, back when I was in high
Yeah.
school, I stole that one kid's ham sandwich and never gave it back. Now I'm
And then they
toast.
find you on Facebook and the hate. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, but
It's scary sometimes. Yeah.
it is. But you're right, Rob. It's definitely a hobby, and it definitely
It's a
should be
hobby.
treated as such. But yeah, it kind of makes me wonder. But yeah, I really like the guy, and I don't dislike him given everything. It's kind of like what
Yeah.
I say. It's kind of like what I say to my kids when they don't do what I ask or they come home with bad grades. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Oh, do you really whip that? Oh, that's nasty.
Oh
Huh.
god. Once in a blue moon, and they know I'm kidding mostly. If I'm ever disappointed in my children, I don't have to say anything.
They already know.
They just
Exactly.
know. That's
Yep.
that's how my parents were. Like I'd come home and I would just look at them and I'd be like, "Oof, oh, I done messed up."
Yeah.
But
You're like, "Yeah, I know.
that's
Welcome to
how
my
I
room."
Exactly. But that's how I feel about Gerard the completionist. Are you kind of on that same plane too? I mean, you've partaken in that stuff
Yeah,
way more than I have. So,
because I'm guessing somehow, right? Because he was pretty big when Sea of Stars was kind of coming in, and so I'm guessing, right, there was some kind of communication there, or he found them or they found him. I guess I don't know. And then, right, he was involved in testing and huge in advertising for it. And then it was like he was just gone all of a sudden. And was like, "What's going on?" And I felt like too, like there had been a huge buildup to it releasing, and then it
mhm,
just kinda like fizzled out. So I feel like those 2 things are kinda connected, that the fizzle out was because there was multiple fizzling outs happening. Um,
yeah.
and luckily it seems like, right, the developer has been able to separate themselves and, hopefully they're gonna do even more cool stuff. But
That's what gives me hope. I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't think it's really hampering the experience in general, really, for the gamer. It's just kind of like,
mm-mm.
that kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
I have really high hopes for Sabotage. I haven't played it yet,
Yeah.
now that we're in Sea of Stars, and as soon as we finish it, I would love to jump into the Messenger, which
I
is
know. Oh my gosh, yeah.
it's in the same universe, isn't it? I heard this or the
Is
two of
it?
them. I
It's
thought so.
supposed to be right, like, they're related somehow. The Messenger is a hard game. So, yes, he did. He needed to complete his mission. Yeah.
Wah,
And
wah.
right, from all accounts at this point, he still hasn't.
Yeah,
So,
well, he still has videos every once in a while. They're not as frequent, and I noticed he's not on camera anymore, and he doesn't
yeah,
credit people that made the video in his comments anymore. So I've just assumed that everybody's gone. He's been abandoned. He's trying to make videos out of his garage, and
like
he's
us. Yes.
yes, exactly. Except my garage has a picture of my awesome dog. Look at that. Look at it. Look at
See?
Dee Dee. Look at
That's
Dee
what it is. It's a Miss Katie.
Awesome. So yeah, it's nice coming across Bob the Builder in the town of Mirth and Sea of Stars. What could have been is not. So we regrettably move on. Wah, wah.
No kidding.
So all right. So yeah, I going back, staying on the town of Mirth for just a second. I did want to ask, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, but like, what
Yeah.
what other games have you played, if any, that have a sort of base building, town building, build up of some sort mechanic that you enjoy? Do
Hmm.
you have any off the top of the noggin?
I'm trying to think. Honestly, I've been doing so much more just casual gaming. Um, yeah, the last big game that I really, yeah, I guess it would have been, yeah, my attempt at Unicorn Overlord. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's not something that, please don't say Minecraft. I do not play Minecraft. I also don't watch Minecraft videos anymore either. Absolutely not. Um,
Was that
Although
a
some people
was
are really creative.
oh for sure.
It it's just a giant my people enjoy it, and that's fine. I don't have to enjoy it. I will play Minecraft Dungeons because it is like Diablo, like baby Diablo. It's so fun. It's so easy. Um,
Baby Diablo, I like that.
it is because you can just kinda wander through and swash, 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 and it's easy, and there's no Satan-y stuff. Which is always right. That was always the thing. It's like, "Oh, what are you playing? You're playing Diablo?" "Yeah, but I'm on the good guy side. I'm trying to kill all the demons. I'm with
Yeah,
the angels."
exactly. Instead of
So,
trying to become one of them or whatever.
that'd be a great game. Where do we get that? Send him an email.
Nice. So Unicorn Overload, as it were, pretty
Yeah.
decent building of sort mechanics. So I still got to get into that game. I was a couple games that I've played in the past that have kind of base build city mechanics that I really enjoyed. Um, are you a fan of the Metal Gear series in any capacity, or
I
have?
do not have that skill set to be into the Metal Gear. I'll watch people play it.
Fair enough.
I've done that.
I'll throw out Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, and Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain have some fantastic base building mechanics to recruit soldiers, get resources, build up the things.
Oh,
State of Decay on the Xbox, State of Decay 2, where it's the zombie apocalypse. Find a place to hunker down, build up your
should I
base, go
write
out,
this
find resources.
down?
You should, yes.
State of Decay.
State of Decay.
Is it like super scary zombie stuff?
Not
I like
really.
zombies.
The only scary thing about it is, at least from what I remember, it's been a hot minute since I played it, but
Yeah.
it has like an element of permadeath in it. So if you have a
Oh,
survivor in your colony or whatever, and you're taking them out and about, you're doing a thing, and you somehow get them killed, they're gone, gone forever.
wow.
So, but
You can't Phoenix pinion them and get them back.
nope,
That's my problem.
Phoenix Downs don't work in that particular instance. Uh,
Dang.
Rob's over
Yeah,
here
see,
saying
that's
he
me.
yeah, can't do stealth. It's a
Yeah.
blast. Then it's blast and ask for forgiveness later. You know what? That's I could get behind that because half the time, like if you're playing a game and you at least have the option, and it's like I could go in silent or I can just launch a missile in the middle of this base and watch everybody scurry around like ants. I kind of like the
It's
latter.
way more
If
fun.
it's definitely more fun.
Blow
That's
'em up.
true. Unless you're playing one of those games that really want you to do stealth, and then you get like your radio buddy in your ear, like Snake. That's not the way to do stealth infiltrations. It's like shut your
Whoa,
mouth.
what did my light just do?
Ooh, crazy.
Well, I am hearing my gosh, I am hearing lightning outside, so
Uh-oh.
right, if it goes bright on me again, I'm gonna turn it off.
Nice. Well, yeah, we've had some
Weird.
pretty interesting storms around.
We have had some wild weather today.
Indeed.
Yuck.
So, but in any case, I wanted to shout out those couple games just really quick. I love base building type of mechanics in general. There's just something about a gameplay loop that where you go out and do something, bring it back, watch your thing grow, that kind of thing. So I have high hopes. Like you said, we're going to come back to Mirth
Yeah.
story wise. I've got high hopes this is going to turn into something cool. Oh, that reminds me. Changing the subject, I finally played the Wheels mini
Oh my
game in Sea of
god.
Stars.
Did you play Wheels? And?
I played Wheels, and I still hate it.
Yeah.
It's
So
not bad.
don't play on champion mode.
Oh god, no.
Don't do that.
I did that once just for
Gross.
fun, and I think whatever NPC it was I was playing against was just laughing at me under their breath, like this knucklehead knows nothing about
Yeah.
Wheels.
And then they go, I won.
Yeah, that's
it.
that's
It's the whole transition. I
that
won. It's
that's the
like,
most insulting
thank
thing.
you.
Like, do
I
something
know.
cool like Street Fighter 2. Like, if I get beat, give me like that one line of like flavor
Yeah.
text, just like "You need to train harder." Ha ha ha. Like, I don't even get that.
Right?
I just get this
No.
dude
Oh
throw up
my
his
god.
hands. Jeez Louise. You were having some
Tech.
difficulties.
What the crap?
But all right, so that's more or less the town of Mirth. Before we catch everybody up on where we're
So
at,
hey, hold on, hold on. On the
oh,
island, did you
oh,
explore while you were over on the island?
which island? I went to several islands.
The island that has Mirth on it.
Oh yeah, you're talking
Did
about
you go?
the crypt, right? Up north, I would assume.
Yes. With the most gorgeous dragon that has ever been in any video game ever. That
Yes,
was crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot all about it. So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember here. This crypt area that's surrounded by or protected by this awesome looking dragon, like you mentioned,
Mhm.
is actually kind of like it's a graveyard, but it's not really a graveyard. It's like an area where everybody that backed this game, I assume on Kickstarter,
Yeah. Yeah.
is mentioned in this crypt. Either, and I'm assuming depending on how big their monuments are, is how higher a tier that they donated
I think
or
so.
whatever. But
'Cause I definitely wandered around, like, for 20 minutes, and then I'm like, "My god, I'm supposed to be playing this game." But, yeah, because if you keep going and it, like, branches off, and then some of these are, like, huge, gorgeous, like, full wall, like, motif relief things that it's like, "What?" Like, I wish I had backed it, so I had a
right,
grave.
I have yet to back a game in that capacity,
I
but
know.
I it always makes me worry. Like part of me is kind of like I certainly want to support somebody's dream to create or whatever it may be, but at the same time, and this is probably going to go over really well. So sorry in advance if this sounds like I don't. Anyway, like as a consumer, I'm impatient. So
Yeah.
it's like one of those things where like I want to give you my money and I want product now. So I
So you
struggle.
don't do limited run then?
Not often. Not to say that I don't because of that, but
Don't. Oh my gosh.
but
Awful.
but but I can kind of understand and justify that. They gotta get the pre-orders to make the game and then they finally send it out. Sure, I get it. But with Kickstarter, depending on the project, it can take anywhere from months to multiple years.
Yeah.
I think it was Stardew Valley, I believe, was kickstarted at one point very early in its
Mhm.
inception. And while the creator, whose name is escaping me, unfortunately, did a
Chucklefish.
Chucklefish. Well,
Why do I know that?
uh,
Chucklefish.
hey, you're just a plethora of the things I don't know today,
Yeah,
so that's
great.
awesome.
I'd win on Jeopardy. No, absolutely not.
But he had his funding, but still it took him years to put that thing out. And granted, it was because he was building this thing all by his lonesome, and inevitably it turned into a fantastic thing. But like I don't know if I have the patience for that.
Yeah.
But seeing the care that Sabotage put into honoring those that put
I
themselves
know.
out there to say, "Hey, you believed in our vision," and they honored them that way. Like
My gosh, it's like pouring outside.
I can almost
Holy
hear
crap. I know.
it.
If I run to the basement, I'll make sure I disconnect my earbuds. Holy crap.
well,
This is
hopefully,
fun. I love it.
hopefully you stay connected. We got 17 more minutes. Weather
Yes.
lay off
We're
Lindsay's
doing it.
electrical system.
Right? Yeah.
but but no, I think if given the chance, if I find the right project, I think the way that they presented this crypt and how they honored their backers,
Yeah.
I think I'm more apt to maybe give it a shot. And I almost like you said, I wish I had funded this game, not just so I would have a
I
monument in
know.
their crypt or whatever, but knowing that the people that put their blood, sweat, and tears into this project and really made this game into something they loved, I could have got to be a part of that. That would have been really
Mhm.
cool. So you spent 20 minutes running around in
I
this
did.
thing?
Well, because there's no map. So you just like go and go and go and I had right and then you kind of like go and you're like, where am I? I don't know where I am. I think if you talk to the dragon, he'll take you back to the like that main big like entrance area.
Pretty
But
straight. Yeah, that sounds
yeah,
right.
I just went and wandered and like touched everything so that it told me, who it was and what it was. Yeah, it was neat.
Nice. Yeah, that was awesome. I'm glad I got to see that. And they worked it into the story in a kind of cute little way too.
Mhm.
So it's not like it was just like here's this extra area that's just tacked on or whatever.
Right? That we're
So
not even gonna bring up the fact that they did build it in. So you do. I mean, you are prompted to go. That was neat.
yeah, that was really cool. So as far as kind of talking about where we're at story wise, I was thinking of kind of just starting around the town of Mirth. I think that might be just kind of a good starting point. Um,
Yeah.
we let's see here. So once we get to the point where we have all of our citizens in the town, they're building everything up. They elect Garl as like their lord and savior of this town,
Yes.
and he gets to name it. Um, a couple other things happen too. So we have our headmaster of the Zenith Academy, where our main characters Zale and the Lear. I can never pronounce her name.
And yeah, it's Moon Girl. I
A-
don't bother with I'm gonna call them all Zidane anyway. If you have a
Zidane.
Z name, your name is Zidane.
I
That's
call him
sorry.
Zidane, so we'll have to fight about that later.
That's funny.
But we get
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Frank. It says you're still alive.
there we are.
Oh, there we go.
Nice. I wonder if the
Did
weather's
I
starting.
freeze?
That
You were frozen.
am I still frozen?
No, you're not frozen anymore.
Okay, got it. I wonder if the weather's
Hurry
starting
up.
to.
I know.
What if the weather's starting to do stuff out here? Thanks for bearing with us, those that are still in the chat. This is going to be an interesting 15 more minutes to
Gosh.
see if we stick around or not. But In any case, so the headmaster of the Zenith Academy comes to the town of Mirth. I think his name is Moraine. Moraine. I can't.
Moraine, yeah.
Moraine.
It's
And
a woman's name.
that's what I thought. But
Don't argue about it. This
but but I want to get your take on what happens here. So after the defeat of the Dweller of Woe, a new dweller is awoken, the Dweller of Strife, and it is so powerful that apparently it wiped out hordes and hordes of Solstice warriors, which are our two main characters. So our headmaster comes to the town and basically says, "I'm throwing down my staff. I'm shedding my garments, figuratively, of course.
yeah.
I am no longer a headmaster."
Mirth is a nudist colony.
Pretty much.
Yes.
But basically he just says, "I quit. I'm done. We are
Yeah.
screwed and I want to live the rest of my days in peace." Like I was astounded by this and knowing that the two remaining Solstice warriors, which are our two main characters, apparently don't have a chance in hell against this thing. What's that mean for the future? Like what was your
Yeah.
thoughts in that moment?
I was like, "Really? Really?" And it's a lot of dialogue. That was my one thing with Mirth. And, like, I wanna know, and because the story is why you play Sea of Stars, right?
Mhm.
The awesome sprites, the music, and the story. So I wanna know, but at the same time, like, "Oh my god, stop talking." Um, yeah, exactly, see? We're inspiring the next generation of Solstice warriors.
Nice.
Um,
Were
but
you born on
right.
the winter or summer solstice, Retro Rob?
Yeah, then too bad.
If the answer is
He
no,
might
which I'm
be.
maybe, but I'm gonna assume the answer is no. So his comment is now hidden. Womp womp.
Too bad.
I'm
Um, yeah,
kidding.
I don't know, like, in a way, like, it's like, that's cool. He knows he's never gonna retire.
Right.
So he's like, "You know what? Fine. I'm just gonna stop." Yeah, see, July, you don't get any solstices, Rob. Sorry, too bad.
Wah, wah.
Um, yeah, I'm just gonna stop. And then, of course, Garl makes it better and is like,
Just
"Well, we need an elder." It's like, so that's still the same job. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
Again, like there's so much story that they're constantly trying to bring together, and then you go and wind up fighting like a crazy dweller, or like the weird guys come out of a triangle, and you're like, what? What is going on? Like there's so much layered story that yeah, sometimes I forget that the cute stuff is only one part of what we're
uh,
doing. Yeah.
I agree, and I think, well, for as much praise as I've heard people give this game, even before we started it, I'm pretty confident that we're gonna get like the best story payoff by the end, and it's just
Yeah.
gonna all come together. It's gonna be great. And it's not to say that it's not going well now or anything, but you saying that, I agree. We have different layers of what's going on in this game. We've got the cutesy moments. We've got the friendship bubble that is Garl holding this whole thing together because he's just the best ever. And Zale and Valir are growing as warriors, which is cool. Then we've got
Yeah.
this bigger threat that goes by the Fleshmancer, which still sounds so cool. Can't wait to see what
Oh,
this thing looks like. And then these dwellers that are kind of sprinkled in, and then these I'm gonna start calling them the four horsemen, these four masked
yeah.
figures
Like
that
weird bird guys. Yeah.
right, and
What?
right, and I can respect any RPG, Western or JRPG that kind of has all these different story threads going at one time, and it's kind of hard
Fair.
to piece them together. But
Yeah.
it feels different in this game. Like I don't know if it's because it's an indie game, maybe, but I almost feel like we
Yeah.
should be getting a little bit more cohesion up to this point.
And since I am ahead of you, no. No.
Damn it!
It's just like, right, like we're waiting, like let's go. And yeah.
Well,
Again,
that
so that's almost what's motivating me at this point in time. It's like, okay, where? Like where is the next like intersection to pull things back together? Yeah.
right. That's a lot of what's driving me too. And I'll actually segue into this. I wanted to talk to you about this a little earlier, so we'll get off the story for just a second. But speaking of bosses in general, the bosses in this game, that's part of kind of what we're talking about here too when it comes to kind of the disjointed sort of story beats
Mhm.
and thematic elements and stuff like that. Excuse me. The bosses that we've fought up to this point have largely been underwhelming for RPG
Yeah.
style bosses. I think you agree.
Yeah. Yeah, and when they're underwhelming, it's like, "Oh my god, am I fighting a plant? Oh my god." Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a couple boss fights that, well, actually, I'll back up a little bit. I don't care for boss fights in any game in general, period. I don't dislike them, but it's kind of like one of those, to me, a boss is put in the middle of your path to test your ability to play the game up to a certain point, is kind of how I see bosses in general. Sometimes they're
Okay.
done really, really well, where it makes a story sense to be fighting this particular creature or person at this moment. But then other times it's very obvious where it's like, oh, well, to get to the next area, I got to beat the stone golem because he's
Yeah.
bigger and blocking the entrance. But Sea of Stars, the couple bosses that really stick out, the one for sure, and I think you agree, when we fought the Dweller of Woe originally, that was,
So creepy. They did a great job with that one. Yeah.
they did. So let me ask you this from your perspective, what did they do well in that boss fight that made that boss fight good?
Mm. I think it was because we were active, right? We were fighting what you were doing was impacting the battle,
Mhm.
but you also were then having to protect the elder, right?
Mhm.
And then and then there was also that added element of the other two solstice warriors. And so every time it was their turn, I'm like, "Oh, what are they gonna do?" Because they have some of
Mhm.
the coolest powers that I
Yes.
don't have.
R
Um, yeah. I
Yeah,
think
and
those and plus just the environment and the music and everything for that battle was awesome.
yes, it had, at least in my mind, a couple different elements that made that battle memorable, and you touched on them. It had unique mechanics because it added
Yeah.
2 non-playable characters that were interacting with us in
Right?
the battle. It had our headmaster, who was a character that we technically got to control, and his whole shtick was he had to hold up, I'll call it the rune
Oh,
of
that
power. I
right.
can't remember what the hell it's
Yeah,
called.
it was a stick.
Right, he had to hold up his super elder stick, and while he was
Yeah,
holding it up, I assume the monster either took extra damage or just took normal damage or what have you. So you had to balance
right.
keeping him alive, keeping him holding up his stick of awesomeness, and that's how you went through that game. And the character, or rather, the enemy design of the Elder of Woe was just mwah, beautiful
Yeah.
in a creepy way.
Yeah, it was perfect. No, because it would, like, do something, and then there would, like, be, like, crazy heads, and it even did some of that, like, disjointed, like, horror movie kind of movement and stuff too. Yeah. Again,
Right,
the attention to detail in this game is crazy.
exactly. So when they knock it out of the park, they knock it out of the park. But
Right.
going back to your plant monster
Stupid
example,
plant. Yeah.
I agree. It was the most underwhelming boss fight for me. I think we fought it in the what is it? The haunted creepy mansion thing that I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of.
Yeah.
But I've got my thoughts, but I'll let you go first. What made, other than the fact that it was just a giant plant, what made that fight underwhelming to you?
It was an ugly ass sprite. I'm like, what the heck was that? Like, you guys didn't even try. Which, again, because you're comparing it to everything else that they've done, like, that was pitiful. Plus, it was just a long fight. It wasn't doing enough damage to kill me. But it was that multi-stage thing, right, where it had the 3, which, dear God, Sea of Stars, stop doing the 3 thing. I'm so done with it right now. So you had to, like, kill the 2 side, right, the goon arms in order to attack the main part of the flower. So it was, like, just a matter of time.
Right.
I have to wear it down, and I don't wanna just play a long fight just to play a long fight. Like,
Yeah.
that's not fun. It's a game. It's not
Right.
fun.
I agree that they're a game has generic bosses, like they have their place, sure, I guess, but I felt like we had a lot of those particular type of fights. The plant monster thing was a great example. Uh, how many times we fought an RPG boss that has multiple appendages or limbs. You knock them out, and then you can attack the body or something, and but the arms grow back, so you got to redirect your
Mhm.
attacks to the arms or whatever. Like I actually, for me, the fight was too easy only because my strategy was I just kept doing basic attacks, letting all the orbs fall out that you can use to power
Mhm.
up, which you can do a maximum of 3. Have you been able to wait till the 3rd one finally?
No, I really don't wait to 3. 1, 2, use it. Yeah.
Once you nice. So I'll let those accumulate up to 3, and I'll be defending because I felt like the attacks to do the timed dodges or timed defense or whatever was a lot easier with that particular boss. I had an easy time
Oh,
defending.
interesting. Mhm.
So my combo meter kept going up pretty quick. So all I did was I basically spammed the attack where Zale throws his big sunball at Garl. Garl
Oh,
hits it with his
and
pan,
he
and
explodes it.
it's an area of effect
Yeah.
attack. And I did that. I just did that over and over again. Attack, 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 defend, power up, super fireball with Garl, and the
Wow.
fight. That was it. I
Right.
was
So again, it's just a time. It's only a matter of time. Which and
right.
why would you want time to be the deciding factor in a battle like that, right? It's a battle. Like, let's strategize. No.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. They're even the battle doesn't even need to be hard. Let us put some thought into it. Make us go, you know what? I have to actually really think through what I
Yeah.
need to do here to be victorious. So I feel like I have evolved as a solstice warrior as opposed
Yes.
to
Like the
um
seahorse. The seahorse was a challenge.
yes, yes. Talk to us about
Yeah.
the seahorse.
Did you do the Frank, did you do the seahorse?
I did. I was just giving you a chance to talk.
Did you love the seahorse fight?
I wouldn't say I loved it, but it was one of my favorites. Like it's
Because the first time, what's his name, like, jumps off backwards? Like, what? And especially because then you're comparing it to some stupid plant battle. It's like,
right.
this is a real fight. Like,
Right.
holy crap. And then this giant thing comes up. Um, plus then right, so I was, like, super blocking and dodging and having her do the, like, the lunar shield thing, so you had the little ball shields orbiting around you,
Best
um,
ability.
because I was sure he was gonna kill me. I'm like, "There's no way I'm ready for this. Look at this huge, gorgeous seahorse, like, what is happening?" And then, it was a very Shovel Knight moment for me, like, because in Shovel
Yes.
Knight, that happens all the time, right? You, like, walk in
Yes.
somewhere, you're like, "Oh, crap, it's gorgeous here. I'm gonna die." And so I was ready. I was ready to get leveled,
I knew it.
and but it was
As soon
it
as you made that
only
Shovel Knight reference.
did right? You knew exactly what I meant, see? Pixel art, man. They know. They're like, "You're gonna spend a lot of time here because 'cause y'all gonna die. So we're gonna make it beautiful and so you enjoy yourselves." Yeah. So then but then you figure out as you're in that battle that that seahorse is doing percent damage, not so it can't kill you. So then I was like, "Oh, thank God." Right? And then
I
I was able to strategize better once I wasn't panicking. So yeah, I absolutely got better at Sea of Stars because of the giant seahorse. Totally.
yeah, I can agree with that. And it took me a little while to figure out that percentage based attack damage.
Yeah.
I was freaking out. I'm just like, this is not happening. And exactly like you said, this is where I've come to die. But
Yes, I'll just die in this horrible place. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but those battles, the seahorse, the dweller of woe, like there is the capacity to have some amazing battles and set pieces in this game, and we've seen them.
Yeah.
But at least at this point, roughly 15 to 20 hours in, they're not as plentiful as I think either of us would like.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm cautiously optimistic that it'll get better. I think let me be clear, it's not bad. It's just
No, it's not bad.
not as good as it can and has been.
Right. That's the thing is they're setting their own bar and it's high. Yeah.
Ve- yeah,
Yeah, and I'm just a little bit ahead of you enough to be like, "Man, let's
that's our
keep going."
let's keep going.
Yeah.
But to end it off with, I think we're getting up to an hour, and I didn't
Oh
lead
my
off with
gosh.
I know time's flying, and for those of you sticking with us in the chat or even watching ahead of time. Well, if
Yay!
you're watching ahead of time, you probably know this,
We
but
made it.
we made it. We
Yeah.
try to do these to at least go an hour, so we're not taking a huge chunk of your time. Plus, with all the weather we've been having around here in
I
Ohio,
know,
it's actually
it's
kind of
not.
miraculous that we're still online. So that's kind of cool too.
Yes.
But I will
Hey,
say,
Mysticles.
Mysticles, what's up, dude? We're gonna put you right there
He's
for people to
hopefully
smell
your
it.
basement's not wet 'cause you're right in here getting rained on with everybody else. Dang.
Heck yeah, dude. Hopefully you're staying safe and dry. The weather's not been the greatest around these parts. But if nothing else, as we continue our Sea of Stars journey, that is the one thing that sure it's the same with you, but even if the bosses here and there have been lackluster, even if we're not entirely sure what it is that we're building up the town of Mirth for, even if we don't know what all these story threads are gonna come together and do, there's still this pull to figure it out.
Keep
So
going. I
to,
know. I
to
know.
exactly. So I'm excited to keep going. I pledge that I will get back on the same plane as you. My
Yes.
week, as
Catch
crazy
up.
as it's been, yeah, I got to play catch up. So my week's kind of toning down a little bit. Things at work are starting to settle down. My we're back from vacation and all that sort of stuff. I've also been putting time, not to self plug, but I'm gonna self plug.
No, plug. What are you doing?
I'm almost, God, it's taken forever. I'm almost done with my next podcast episode. I'm checking out an awesome NES game that you'll get to find out here in the next couple days. I'm almost done editing it finally, so I've been doing that. I'm putting together a video review of a Metroidvania indie game that I played on vacation called Chasm. I
Awesome.
putting that together. So like I'm doing all the things, and I just took on way too much this week, but things are going to even out. We're going to catch up on Sea of Stars together, make sure we're on the same plane. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. So uh, barring any issues, we're going to try to get together again next Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern, talk about where we're at in Sea of Stars still, anything else that comes up in conversation that kind of makes sense to talk about. Everybody in the chat, anybody listening or watching to this after the fact, you are more than welcome to come and hang out with us. You could even play the game
Please.
along with us. That would
Yes. That would be crazy. Do
that
it.
would that would be awesome. So, and we'll have to think too, Lindsay, at some point once Sea of Stars is done, what are we going to do after this, if anything, or whatever. So, the cool thing about this hobby is there's no commitments. We can do whatever the hell we want, and
Mm,
you
I know.
all
It's awesome.
come along for the ride. So, so before we close her out, just one more time for the folks at home, Lindsay, LL Cool Games, where can people find you?
I am LL Cool Games on Facebook. And then on YouTube, I am Lindsay LL Cool Games. Somebody else beat me to it. So
Dang, that's unfortunate.
good night, Rob.
Good night, Rob. Thanks for hanging out, dude. So if you're out and about in the YouTube, Facebook sphere, go find LL Cool Games and subscribe. Definitely subscribe to her on Facebook. If we can get her to 100 followers, she has earned the right to stream
Yeah.
on her page as well. So that would
Isn't
be
that
fantastic.
silly? 100 people? Really?
Right. It's just like
Never.
just let me do what I want, Facebook. God dang
Yes.
it.
It's Facebook. Come on.
And then my name is Frank. I go by Nomad. My shtick is a podcast that I have called the Retro Wildlands. Go check it out on your favorite podcasting app. I'm on all of them, I think, or at least the ones that were kind enough to accept me. Um, I put out episodes really whenever I have time. So if you're interested, check me out. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe on your favorite platform. You'll be the first to know when I throw out some new stuff. I have a YouTube channel. I'm trying to do that too because I'm having a freaking blast.
Yeah.
And yeah, so wait, I have a little banner for myself too. Bam!
You have
Check
a
out the
banner?
Retro Wildlands, your favorite podcast.
Yes.
There we go.
You should have
So
a banner. And it's not even the demo banner this time. Good job.
yeah, and we're getting better at using this awesome stream software. So we're borderline professionals now.
Yes.
All right. So with that, do you got anything else, Lindsay? Otherwise, I'm gonna shut it down.
I think I'm good. Honestly, yeah, I need to get my YouTube going too. There was a kind of a homegrown video game store in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, where we used to live that I did visit, and I took some video that I need to do my homework and get my video put together. So good
Nice. You can
reminder.
you can do it. Oh, my wife joined the chat and said hi. There you are, honey. You're up
Aw,
on the thing.
yay.
All right, everybody, that is it. If you are so inclined, we will be back again next week, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, to talk more Sea of Stars and things that make us happy. Until next time, Lindsay, it was a pleasure. I will see you in the next one.
Sounds good.